Hey there, dog lovers. I'm Alex Covington, owner and lead trainer and behaviorist at Project Canine Dog Trainers. I'm excited to welcome you to our brand new show, the Dog Trainers Pawdcast. Whether you're a seasoned dog owner, a new puppy parent, or just learning about our friends, this podcast is for you. We're diving into all things dog, from basic obedience to solving those tricky behavioral issues. We'll also be bringing in expert guests, sharing real-life success stories, and giving you tips and tricks to help build a stronger bond with your canine companion. So grab your lead. Join us on this journey to better and happier pups. Subscribe now to the Dog Trainers Pawdcast. And let's unleash your dog's potential together. Welcome, everybody, to the very first episode of the Dog Trainers Pawdcast. I'm your host, Alex Covington, and I'm thrilled to have you join us, or join me, as we kick off, everybody, to the very first episode of the Dog Trainers Pawdcast. I'm your host, Alex Covington, and I'm thrilled to have you join us, or join me, as we kick off this exciting journey together. You see, whether you're seasoned or not, or if it's first time dog owner, I'm happy you're here because we can learn a lot together. So today we need to look over some of the basics, right? Because before you can tackle any advanced training, before we have to lay down a solid foundation. See, we're going to talk about core principles of dog training and why they're so important. So let's dive in a little bit more to understanding your dog. So training a dog isn't just about teaching them commands, right? It's about understanding them. Dogs are incredible, intuitive animals. And they respond to our energy. They respond to our body language and our tone of voice. So we need to understand that their natural instincts and how they communicate, right? Do you ever see dogs talking together? Do they vocalize? No. They use more body language to communicate. So in all training aspects, we use our body language to communicate with them before they know how to communicate. They can already read our body language. So let's talk about the importance of observing your dog. So we need to watch the dog's behavior. What motivates them? Are they food driven, toy driven, or do they just want your attention? See, understanding what makes your dog tick will help you tailor your training approach to their unique personality. I don't train dogs most of the time with food. Yes, most dogs can be very how do we say, can be very food motivated. But there's a lot of them that are attention or toy motivated. We have to read our dogs and watch carefully. I personally, as a dog trainer, do not want to walk around with treats in my pocket all the time just to have a dog listen to me. I'd rather them listen to me because they want to listen to me, because they know that they'll get affection. They know that they're going to get attention from me. So we have to read our dogs. Watch your dogs. See what happens. Now let's look at some of the keys to effective training. This is some of the most important things you can find. So now we've covered kind of understanding your dog, right? So whether it's food motivated, toy motivated, or attention motivated. Let's talk about the two most important tools in your training toolkit: consistency and patience. Consistency is critical because dogs thrive on a routine. If you're sending mixed signals, your dog won't know what to expect from you. They don't know what you want. That's why it's important to use the same commands, rewards, and corrections every single time. And then there's patience. See, training doesn't just happen overnight. It takes time and repetition. Even for professionals like me, it takes time, it takes repetition. Even though I can come in one day and fix a lot of problems, those problems are 99% owner related and have nothing to do with the dog. That is what dog training is. A lot of times it's fixing the people, not the dog. So some days our dog might, nail every command perfectly. Other days it may feel like they've forgotten everything. It's okay. It's normal. Like, don't be afraid. It is normal that it happens. Remember, progress is progress, no matter how small. So to illustrate, let's share a quick story about one of the clients who was struggling with a very stubborn dog. You see, key to the key to their success, you guessed it, consistency and patience. I'll tell you how they turn things around in just a moment. You see, it's all about, again, consistency, doing the same thing repetitively over time, being patient, allowing the dog sometimes to make up its own mind so it knows what you want and how to give it to you. So let's look at this next part of setting goals. Do you have goals for your pet? Do you have goals for your training? See, as you start your training journey, it's important to set realistic goals. Maybe you want your dog to stop jumping on guests, or perhaps you're working towards off leash reliability. Whatever the goals are, break them down into small, manageable steps. See, and you don't forget to celebrate each win. So every time your dog follows a command or learns something new, it is a victory. See, the positive reinforcement a lot of time is just petting your dog. That's it. It's just for your dog. See, positive reinforcement isn't just for your dog. There we go. It's for both of you. See, your dog gets something, you give them, you pet them, you praise them. Remember that you were part of the process. Recognizing this will keep you motivated and help you stay positive throughout the whole process. See, there's a few tips on how to set the goals and what kind of rewards work best for different types of dogs. So we have to recognize the process. The rewards, again, can be a treat, which I highly say use that last. It could be a toy, playing with a toy, giving them the toy because they did something good. It could be just praising them, petting them, telling them it was a good boy, a good girl. See, before we wrap this episode up today, I know it's not much, but I want you to understand a few things before we get into things. A dog, the way we talk to them plays a huge factor in how they react, right? Our tone. Most people see dogs as puppies. And that's one of the most dangerous things you can do. You put a toddler phase on them. You put an infant phase on them by thinking of puppies. Most people think of babies. Oh, they're such a cute little baby. Oh, they're such a cute little puppy. But in reality, I don't care how old they are. Yo, they full-blown teenagers. I know you might have to wrap your head around this for a minute. There's a lot of people who don't agree with this statement, but I'm going to say this. If I tell a teenager to go take out the trash and they don't take out the trash, isn't there a consequence? Because I expected them to do it. Now, I'm not going to tell a baby go take out the trash. But if I look at all the dogs as teenagers and I'm teaching them, once they know it, they should have a consequence. And a consequence isn't beating your dog. A consequence isn't hurting your dog. Your consequence isn't being mean and cruel. It's simply saying the word no and making them try again until they get it right. And then sometimes just saying no and quit doing it completely until the next session, till the next day, or or later on that day when you try again. You can't be in a bad mood. You have to get your head straight. If you're frustrated or aggravated, don't even try training. I mean, if they're inside dogs, you're going to have to take them out to go potty. But don't even try training with your dog because you're not in the right mindset, your headspace, and the dog can sense this. You see, dogs have such a keen sense of smell, right? That they did tests on some protection dogs a while back. There would be 3 or 4 guys in bite suits. And between those guys, they had to decide which one of them will be thinking negative thoughts about that dog handler, about the person with the dog. So they'd go out and all be in about the same position, around the same objects around them. Everything was almost identical. Except for the one thinking negative thoughts, thinking they were going to kill the dog handler, thinking they were going to do all these things, who were just thinking negatively. When they said sick 'em, when they released that dog, it went to the one thinking negative thoughts every single time. You might be wondering, well, how is that? Why is that? Well, it's easy. You see, our thought process changes our body chemistry. And the dogs can actually smell the difference in our body chemistry, whether we're thinking happy or negative thoughts. This is a game changer for a lot of you out there. You have to be in a good mindset when training. If you're in a bad one or a frustrated one, don't even mess with the dog. Leave them be because you're not in the headspace to do it. They're not going to be in the headspace to do it. They need the time also. So I have some homework for each one of you today. You see, before we wrap up today's episode, we've got the homework this week. I want you to spend some time observing your dog. Pay attention to their behavior, their likes, dislikes, and how they respond to your commands. Start thinking about training goals. Write them down. So, in our next episode, we're going to talk a little bit more about positive reinforcement and how to use it effectively in your training. Trust me, you won't want to miss that one. It'll be interesting. Positive, negative reinforcement. See, remember training is a journey. It's not a destination, it's the journey. Our destination is having a trained dog. It's having the dog we want to take on hikes, the dog we want to take out, the dog we want to live with. Even if it's livestock guardian dogs, the dogs that we want to have to protect our other animals. Like there's an end goal and our destination, but the training is the journey getting there. So I'm here to support you every step of the way. Be sure to subscribe and follow us on social media, YouTube. And if you have any questions or topics you'd like us to cover, don't hesitate, reach out. Put them in the comments. And we're here to build this community and build up the people so they can train their dogs successfully. Because see, I'm not in the business of training dogs. Even though I'm a dog trainer, I'm in the business of training people to train their dogs. So again, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this episode and more upcoming things from the Dog Trainers Pawdcast. Again, I'm Alex Covington, and I'll see you next time. Same place. Happy training.